Conservative defector Eve Adams lost her bid to run for the Liberals in the next federal election.
I will fight harder for you than Joe Oliver ever will.
The fight is over for Adams. Lawyer Marco Mendicino beat her by about 800 votes. Mendicino will now face off against Conservative Finance Minister Joe Oliver for the Toronto riding. Oliver congratulated Mendicino and took a jab at Liberal leader Justin Trudeau for welcoming Adams into the Liberal fold. For a reaction to the nomination results, we're joined by political consultant Mike Geoghegan out of Victoria, BC. Sorry, something's happening to my voice, Michael, but it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
So Adams defeated tonight. How surprising of a result was this?
Well, obviously a disappointing result for Eve Adams, but I think it also speaks to the growing enmity between Liberals and Conservatives. Over the decades, there used to be a somewhat cordial relationship, but in this modern era, just as we've seen south of the border, there's increasing partisanship, and in terms of the Liberal membership, they, I guess, essentially did not want or didn't trust someone who had been a Conservative MP to be their standard bearer in the next election.
Adams joined the party with a lot of fanfare earlier this year. How risky of a nomination race was this for the leadership?
Well, you're talking about a riding that I believe until Joe Oliver took it, had for many years, at least back to 1988, been a Liberal riding. So it was certainly one that when Trudeau was riding high in the polls, certainly seeing as one that they could win back. Now, of course, for Marco Mendicino, a much tougher fight, but certainly something that he's going to be putting all his energy and attention into. And given where the Conservatives are in the polls, they have to look over at their shoulders at both the NDP and the Liberals.
What kind of challenges will Mendicino have against Joe Oliver?
Well, you're going up against an incumbent finance minister. If the tide ends up turning against the incumbent Conservative government, that will be to his advantage. If, however, Stephen Harper regains the momentum, then it'll be a very difficult fight for him to unseat a sitting finance minister.
Yeah, a report out today from the Canadian press saying that the Conservatives have a huge advantage in funding over the other parties at the grassroots level. How much of an advantage will this give them in the fall?
It's a tremendous advantage because we have a fixed election date. So essentially what you've got is the commencement of an unofficial campaign. And in that unofficial campaign, there's no campaign spending limit. So it's a situation where those parties that are flush with cash, are able to spend more, do more with it in order to, bring their numbers up, get the profile of their candidates and their party to the public's attention. So in that regard, the Conservatives have a significant advantage, and they, along with the NDP, seem to be the two best of the parties in terms of getting even relatively modest donations from the grassroots.
Overall, how do you think the campaign is going so far?
Well, like I say, it's almost like the Cold War. It's a bit of a shadow campaign, a lot of unofficial campaigning. Mulcair's gone on a bit of a tour. Harper canceled his tour of the North because he wants to go across Canada. So it's one where the unofficial campaign is already underway. A lot of jockeying, a lot of posturing, and obviously seeing how this shakes up. For a while, it looked like the NDP were in the lead. Now there's some polls suggesting that the Tories have come back up, and they're now neck and neck with the NDP, and the Liberals are fighting to be in contention as well. So very interesting times.
All right, political consultant Michael Geoghegan out of Victoria, BC. Always a pleasure. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you.